Hello, everybody. This is Kirsten here. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today, we're doing another episode about reverse dieting. And although I know that I had many episodes on this topic before, today we're going to talk about the exact process. And also, I have a question that I want to ask you. And the question is, do you have the patience? Do you have the patience to go through the whole process and finally do your fat loss in a truly healthy way? Not in the way that you may have done it before, where you just cut your calories down, get some quick results, and it all comes back. Or you do some kind of diet like keto or something similar. You get results really quick, and then you gain it all back because it wasn't sustainable. Well, what I want to teach you is how to lose body fat in a healthy way so that you can maintain your healthy body fat percentage and body weight, and how you can do it with this simple method I'm going to talk about today, knowing that you first have to do a reverse diet. So basically, this is a recap. This is kind of like an overview. What's going to happen in today's episode is probably going to be a little bit longer one because I'm going to go over all the details. And again, when you're listening to this, I want you to ask yourself, am I ready for this? And let me tell you one thing. It is important that you are ready before you get started with this journey. Because if you're not ready, if you don't know what's going to happen, then you got to get really impatient. You're going to be like, this stuff is not working. Why am I even doing this? I'm going to jump back to my next diet. So if that's what you want to do, go do it. But know that you're not going to get sustainable results from any extreme diets. This is just not how it works. So before I talk about reverse diet and if you are ready for it and do you have the patience, I want to mention once again the Fit and Fuel Facebook group. Please join me there. It's a fantastic group. We just did a 3-week challenge there, and the winner won $500. I just sent it. I just Venmoed it to her yesterday. So it was a great challenge. A lot of women shared their foods, their workouts. We're getting some great results, consistency, strength building. People are telling me that the weights that they lifted went way up. So really glad to hear that. And it's important to increase weights because that means that we are getting stronger, we're getting fitter, and we're going to have more muscle definition. So definitely it was a fun challenge. I'm going to do another one, not anytime super soon, but there will be one more in the future for sure. And in the meantime, there's still a lot going on. I'm posting there almost every day and doing lives frequently as well. So make sure that you join me there, especially if you have noticed I'm not on Instagram right now, taking a little break from there. So I hope to see you in the group. Once again, its name is Fit and Fueled. Okay, so today we're going to talk about reverse diet. And first of all, I have done many episodes on this topic, and I'm going to tell you just a few right now. So I did a mini series about reverse dieting. There are episodes 205, 206, and 207. And also, I've done several case studies where I'm talking about my current or past clients who have been through the process of reverse diet. So these are episodes number 175, 192, and 213. There are more. I believe I've done more in the past too, but these are the 3 most recent ones. So go ahead and check them out, and you see that it's actually not that scary as you may think it is. So it's worth it, and it does work if you have the patience and if you're ready to do it. Okay, so you have often heard me talk about the 3 phases when it comes to fat loss. So if you want to have healthy fat loss, there are phases. The first one I call the build-up phase. And this is the phase where we prepare the body for the future fat loss, right? And this is essentially what we're going to focus on a lot today. So the build-up is needed when the body has been really deprived from calories or deprived from carbohydrates. Maybe you've been doing lots of cardio training, or maybe you haven't done any workouts at all. But the main thing here is really severe calorie restriction. And so you have now down-regulated your metabolism. Now, this is super important to understand that this metabolic down-regulation doesn't happen just randomly. It happens as a result of us taking some actions. Doing diets is the main thing. So we're going to talk about the build-up phase. Then we're going to talk about the next phase, which is the fat loss phase, where you, of course, want to get to. And finally, we're going to talk about the forever phase where you're going to maintain everything. But the focus, like I said, is going to be on that build-up phase. Okay, so this build-up phase is really important for most of my clients, and it does take time, and it does take patience. So I want you to understand that if you have been doing several diets in the past, in the recent past, in the past 2 years or so, then you need this phase, and please get ready. It's going to take some time before we can get you ready for that second phase, which is called fat loss. Okay, so what happens in the build-up phase? What happens is that we are building your metabolism back up, and that happens by increasing your calorie intake. Now, how many calories we have to increase is super individual. So the first thing that I have to do as a coach is to figure out what are your maintenance calories, right? What is the goal? Where do we want to get you in order for you to have a healthy metabolism, right? This is an estimation. And you can find out the exact process that I use for my clients too in this free guide, in this free resource that you can find in the show notes as well. It's called a Lean Ladies Calorie, Protein, and Workout Guide. So you can get exact step-by-step instructions there. So once I have identified what are the maintenance calories, what are the calories that we need to get you to, then we start the actual process of reverse dieting, aka the build-up phase. And now how long it takes depends on how far you are from this maintenance calorie point. So let's say that your calorie maintenance, estimated maintenance, is about 2,000 calories, and you are currently eating 1,200. Let's say that's person one. And then we have another person whose maintenance calories are also 2,000, but she's currently eating 1,700. Okay, so you see that the second person is way closer to the goal, and it's probably going to take her way less time to get her up to that 2,000 mark. Maybe it only takes 3 weeks and we're there. That would be fantastic. Now, if we have somebody who has been eating 1,200 calories, it's going to take more time. We're probably not going to get there. No, we're not going to get there in 3 weeks, because that would be way too sudden calorie increase a little too frequently, and we'll probably put on more body fat that we want to. So the goal with reverse dieting is always to minimize the body fat gain while at the same time getting the body healthier, putting on muscle, and healing the metabolism. Sometimes gaining body fat is needed, but it's not like the goal itself, right? So sometimes if a person has really low body fat percentage, then we need to put on some body fat too. But a lot of times, actually, this is not the goal. The goal is to increase muscle mass and heal the metabolism doing that. Now, like I said, the people who are further away from the target goal, they're going to need a little bit more time. And people who are closer to that target maintenance goal will need less time. So it makes sense, right? Another factor that determines how much time we need in order for you to get up to that maintenance level is that for how long have you been in this low calorie place? So let's say that you did just a quick diet and it was 2 months long, then we're going to fix that relatively quickly, right? A couple of months, we're going to be there. But then if you have been yo-yo dieting up and down for 10 years, it's going to take longer, because also once we get to that point where I see that, okay, we are now at maintenance, we have to stay there for a little bit longer to make sure that things are nice and stable and your body is strong and healthy. Give it a little bit more time to get used to this new way of being, because your body has hardly ever been there. So before we can start cutting the calories back down, we first have to get them up to that point and possibly maintain there for several months. And the longer you have been in this dieting cycle and low calorie place, the longer this is going to be, right? So it's so important to understand that. So for example, let's say you've been eating 1,200 calories and it has been like this for 6 years. It's a long time and it's very low calories. So we cannot expect to reverse that very, very quickly. Build up, cut back down, and boom, done. It does not work this way. Also, if you have a history with, let's say, recent keto diet or another way of, really cutting the carbs down, and then you have thrown something else in the mix too, like a random diet where you threw some foods out and only lived your life from, let's say, 5 foods or 6 foods, or you've done something really, really extreme and you've done it really recently, then we're going to still need to increase the calories. So that's why you see that, because so many women have been dieting recently, that's why this build-up phase is so important, and we just can't get around that, because you are not in a healthy place calorie-wise, metabolism-wise, to start cutting calories right away. Now, another factor that determines how long this build-up phase will be for you is, have you been lifting weights consistently? Or have you not been lifting weights at all? Have you been doing cardio? Have you been doing circuit training? What have you been doing? Because this determines your metabolic health. So if you have been lifting weights, right, slow, heavy weights, and you've been doing this consistently, you are in a better place compared to somebody who's been doing lots of cardio, or who hasn't been exercising at all, or who has been doing circuit training. So I know that a lot of times women think that they are doing strength training, but when asked to see the program, it's actually circuit training, and it's like 30-minute workout with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, kind of random stuff, right? This is actually not true strength training. And if you've been doing this instead of doing heavy lifting, then you're probably, again, going to need more time in the build-up phase. Okay, so the goal with the build-up phase is to prepare you for healthy fat loss later, right? In most cases. Sometimes, actually, I've had some women who have just gone through the build-up phase and they've been happy with the results that they've been getting there. And they're like, you know what? I don't even care to go into fat loss anymore. And this is awesome. And I like it because they're feeling so much healthier. They see that they've been putting on muscle mass, their energy is better, sleep is better, libido is better. There's so much more food freedom. And they're like, I don't even have to go into fat loss. So this can happen as well. But if you are somebody who has extra body weight, extra body fat on you, and you've been eating kind of lower calories, you have to accept the fact that you need to build up and it's going to take time, right? So I want to say that you just have to stay patient. Just let go of all the timelines. Like, okay, I have whatever trip planned like 4 weeks from now. It's not going to work like this. So I just need to repeat it so many times because I often see that it happens that, we're saying that, yes, I understand the process. And then when we get started, it's like, oh, but why are we still increasing the calories? Well, because we are not at this estimated maintenance point yet where I feel safe to start cutting the calories back down again. And that can cause a lot of frustration. Women are like, I want this. I want this now. I'm so ready to start seeing the weight going down. But I'm over here telling you that you're not ready. So it's going to take some time if you want to do it the healthy way. And you could do it the unhealthy way. I don't recommend it. I know how to do it the healthy way and just asking you to trust the process. Okay, so let's say that you are somebody who, after building up, still wants to lose some body fat. Okay, so what happens during that build up? Well, you should be getting stronger. If you have good strength training program, you should be getting stronger. You should feel like physically I'm stronger. You should see your lifts at the gym that they're going up. This is proof that this thing is working. Now, what about your weight? Your weight may go up as well. It doesn't have to. It's not a rule. Sometimes it does, and many times it doesn't. So I really can't tell you who's going to lose, who's going to gain. But what I will tell you is that the weight is not the most important factor. Like we talked in the last episode too. What's so much more important is to look at your measurements and look at your photos, right? These two things are telling us if we're moving in the right direction. And if you're lifting heavy weights, if you're fueling your body with more calories and you're eating healthy calories, healthy foods, then you should start seeing even just subtle body composition changes, right? And I will have to say again, this thing too, that this build-up phase is not a time where we're just massively changing your body composition. Oh my God, my abs are coming out and look at that quad definition. It may not be like this at all. So this is really, how else can I say this? This is to get you ready for what's coming, right? This is to get you ready for the future fat loss that you wanted so bad. And you have never done it this way. And that's why a lot of times people don't believe it. They're like, I've never seen this before. Every diet I've ever done has just cut the calories massively down immediately. And I've seen the weight loss immediately. But this is not the way to do it, because if it was, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this episode about reverse dieting, right? But you need to do this differently this time. So I'm asking you to trust the process and get strong and need a little bit more calories, even if your weight doesn't go down during this process. Your measurements may go down a little bit. Your photos are going to start looking better. So this is true, but yes, we're not expecting huge weight loss here. Okay, so now let's say that you are now at a place where your coach says, hey, we are at maintenance now. Congratulations, you've done a really big chunk of work already. You've been eating more, you've been trusting the process. You probably have seen that it wasn't as scary as you thought. By the way, forgot to mention that a lot of times our health markers are getting better too. I hear it all the time when women are telling me like this and that, blood marker is so much better, inflammation markers are down, cholesterol looks better, joint pain is gone. I hear these health improvements all the time. All right, so now we built the calories up. So what happens next? What happens next is that now we have to stay there for a little while. So that means more waiting. Oh my God, we have to wait even more. Kirsten, you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I'm doing what's best for you. So we have to maintain the calories in this place. And again, it depends on the person how long we need to keep them on this higher place or this maintenance place. So again, if your cut was longer, if you were dieting for longer, if you did yo-yo up and down for several years, then I'm going to ask you to stay there for about 4 months at least, right? If you could stay longer, if you have a little more patience, stay for 6 months. Now, if you just did like a quick little diet here and there, and it wasn't like nothing chronic dieting, then you may not have to stay there for 4 months. Then maybe, 4 months, like a month of just, staying there, making sure you're feeling strong and everything's good, your sleep is okay and your health is fine. Then we can start cutting. If it was like an occasional little calorie cut before that, then we can move into another deficit faster. But yes, again, I want to emphasize that if you have this history with yo-yo dieting, lots of different things, keto, fasting, cutting out carbs, one diet after another, then you have to stabilize your system, right? Before we start putting that stress of calorie reduction on it again. So you see that people who have been dieting the most need a lot of time to come out of this and to prepare the bodies for healthier fat loss later. Okay, so now let's say that we have maintained that high calorie point, depending on the person, maybe it's 1 month, maybe it's up to 6 months. Now we can start the cut, okay? If you still have that goal that you want to cut. And this is now the safer place to start from, because you have more metabolic resiliency, your thyroid health has improved significantly, your liver health has improved significantly, your adrenals are doing a lot better, especially if you have done the things that I'm asking you to do often, which are adrenal cocktails, mineral drops, castor oil pack. I will tell you if these are things that I think are important for you. So now we can start cutting the calories back down. So this is what we do. We usually start at about 15% deficit from your highest number. So we're going to start from there. And let's say that you were eating 2,000 calories and previously your cuts have looked like down to 1,200 immediately. This is not what we're going to see here. Also, you're not going to see carbohydrates that drop like under 100 grams. So just today, I talked to somebody and she started deficit. It's her second week and we are reducing the calories, right? Because it is deficit. And she said, what? My carbs are still 140 grams? And I said, yes, they're 140. And she said, oh, I expected them to be like way less than 100. And no, I don't do that. Even like and she's like a smaller person anyway. So 140 grams is her initial, carb count for her. And she was very, very surprised. She was like, oh, I think this is actually doable. This is not what I expected you to tell me, or this is not what I have done in the past. But my goal as a coach is to get you the results that you want by cutting the calories as little as possible. So that includes keeping your carbohydrates as high as possible, keeping the fats and the protein as high as possible. Always, the goal is always to eat as much as you can while getting the results that you want. Because why would we cut down to 1,200 if we can get you the results eating 1,700, for example? So this is important to understand. There's no rush. There's no like panic. Let's get things done quickly, which is something that we're going to talk about in the next episode. But we have to stay patient, and you have to just really know that all the advice that I'm giving you here is so that you can do it the healthiest way possible. Sometimes people don't care about the health, or they don't think that they care about that, that health is so important. They're like, well, all I care about is just weight loss, fat loss, give me that result. But if you start feeling like total crap, if you have headaches and you're always hungry and you cannot focus and your periods are a mess and libido's gone like this is not the way you want to lose that weight, right? Of course, when you go into fat loss, then there will be some signs of like, yeah, I'm a little bit hungry, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, that will happen. Or you are more tired, or you're not getting through your workouts with the same energy you had before. all this is possible because you're in a calorie deficit, but it shouldn't be absolutely miserable. It should be doable. So the main focus today was on this build-up phase, and I was trying to explain you why it requires a lot of patience. If you have done a lot of diets, you have damaged your metabolism a little bit. I don't want to use scary language like damaged. Nothing's broken, nothing's not fixable. You can fix this, you can get better, right? You just need some time and patience, and you have to accept the fact that it's going to look different from many of the diets that you have done before if you truly want to do it in a healthy way. Okay, this is all I got for you today. I hope that you subscribe to this channel if you are watching this on YouTube, and also subscribe if you are listening to it on your podcast app. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again very soon.